Hello there, Frogman, better known as Ryan, and I've been feeling nostalgic lately. Not for any specific thing that could pin me down to an exploitable market demographic, but for progress in general. Just think, the idea of commercial video games in the face of entertainment history is still one that is learning, developing, and expanding what it can do. And you can have an appreciation for those early times, but it's important to appreciate how much better things have gotten since then. Because otherwise, we'd still be playing Captain Planet, and depression is already on the rise. We don't need more.
Thank you to my friend Joe for suggesting this game to me. It's exactly as you advertised. Captain Planet and the Planeteers released in September of 1991 for the NES, and... Jesus, I forgot games used to just start like that. Developed by Chris Gray Enterprises, this was still firmly in the era of home console games that only had arcade games to base their experiences off of. And by that, I mean...
Ryan, you died.
Shh, I know. It's not exactly...
Ryan, you died. Ryan, you died.
It's balls hard. I could not, for the life of me, figure out how to progress through the first damn level because I was bombarded by things and barely had enough time to go, what is that? And then die. There is zero explanation for anything happening on screen. Is this good? What do these symbols mean? Is this a glitch? Well, I'm dead. I couldn't get past the mini-boss that I beat because it doesn't leave the screen. None of my abilities clear it, and I die upon touching it. Would have been great to get any help from the game in the form of text saying, press A to use abilities, start to cycle abilities, and don't run out or you're screwed. But I guess they didn't have the space for that. Except they did, because each level starts with a long-ass text crawl where Gaia goes, bad guy is making the earth unclean. You need to travel in your inexplicably clean mode of transport to stop them. The power is yours, or whatever. Admittedly, this is a very mountain out of a molehill point, but understand, if you're somebody trying to see if there's any narrative elements to this game, first of all, I'm so sorry for you. Second, I need to avenge some of the time I lost watching this slow-ass text snail across the screen. Hell, there are some text crawls that cannot be skipped, and I know this because the official speedruns can't skip them either. What did they even do for this part anyway?
We're gonna have fun with this.
How the French fuck was I supposed to guess flying into the broken legs of the walking oil rig was how I was meant to get past this thing? Turns out I couldn't have guessed because this was also the era of the enclosed instruction book, where the developers tried to be painfully clear about how to operate their game because back then, these were marketed as toys rather than a medium of entertainment. Make sure unit is properly connected and press power. Oh man, thank God I read that. I always knew I was doing something wrong. Here we learned there are 5 levels with an inside and outside segment. Our powers are fire, water, wind, earth, and heart? I don't know the show itself, so I can't speak to how effective Ma-Ti is on the Planeteers team, but it feels like a really shoehorned in explanation to make animals suddenly do what we want them to do. Honestly, it could be replaced with any word and achieve just the same effect for all it's worth. Now with reading on our side, it tells us how to move past the rigs and how to save the seals using the wind power. The wind power. Okay, so that doesn't work. Despite what the manual says, only water helps with the seals here, and for that, we get another tick. Even with some of the secrets being told to us by the manual, the game is still hard as fuck with the enemies coming out of nowhere to ruin your day, and sometimes the game even breaking. I'm in! Base! You gotta... The music is going! Did I win or not? Please? Oh my god. The inside segments are a little more tolerable since you can take more than one hit before death. Sometimes. Through the power of fire, water, wind, earth, and Henry Berg, Captain Planet is summoned to go punch up the bad guy. You're dropped into a large maze you need to navigate while enemies and proximity bombs fly around and expel toxic waste damaging you. And when I say damage, I mean the kind where you go, oh my god, that was one bomb! Are you kidding me? See, Mr. Planet can take a hit, but he can't take many, and certain hazards like toxic water and cascading fish guts just end him outright, costing a life and eventually forcing you back to the start of the level. And on top of being frail at the sight of anything remotely industrial, Captain Planet's abilities are rather pathetic. He can punch for free, but lining up his punches is less of a natural skill and more of a process going, fuck you, why doesn't this work, fuck you! And yes, that does count. Mr. CP can also harness the different abilities to his advantage, turning into a blob of whatever he channels. It's kinda lame, actually. Fire being mostly done to attack, water and wind sometimes being used for evasion, rock is completely worthless, while heart being required to beat one specific boss, which only makes sense if you read the manual. Oh, and by the way, your health and power share the same bar, so don't use it too much unless you want to be trapped against a boss that requires an ability to win, and it won't let you go back to refill! Which that was another annoyance playing these inside levels. Sometimes you can get drops that either give you a life, partial health boost, invincibility, or a full bar of health. And the manual tells us that we should wait for the boost we want while they cycle through. But what it doesn't tell you is that if you get too close, they spontaneously gain gravity and break. Why? It's stressful enough navigating these mazes with enemies that spawn from nowhere, but now I have to be careful not to trigger the power-ups early, or in some cases before I can even see them? I thought it was weird in this segment how I have to spend so long in toxic water, forcing me to use my power bar with no way to refill at this spot, only to realize there was a power spawn here. It just broke because I got too close collecting a power-up from a secret that was above that one. So finding a secret path and getting rewarded for it only punished me when I took the required path. It's just not fun to endure, and I tried to stay pure for the sanctity of beating an NES game legit, but once I got to the boss that sucked me down these pipes, I couldn't do it. And as integral as the manual was in getting help, the more I try to rely on it, the less helpful it seems to get. Use wind to get past these fish grinders. Yeah, nope, that doesn't work. Use the shield bonus to get past lasers. I know that I'm invincible. Get help from the bear! What are you talking about? And keep in mind, this is me with the manual. Imagine somebody playing without this. Say your dad spilled coffee on it and you quickly tried to dry it off and one thing led to another. You'd be completely out of the loop for most of the game's functions, which sucks. But it also lends to its odd charm. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, I'd rather do anything else than play more of this, but I can't deny how I felt something when I was playing it. There's not many games that get me as worked up as losing my last life after a grueling gauntlet of levels. No! What do you mean? And having a miserable experience here makes me appreciate design and conveyance in modern titles. Most games don't need an instruction booklet parallel, as you're either told how to play or it comes naturally through the design of the game. We wouldn't be where we are with solid experiences if we didn't have these games to show us how things could not be fun. And in that way, it's bad things like this that have the potential to make you learn so much more than a neutral experience. So thank you, Captain Planet. Thank you for sucking.
Overall, Captain Planet and the Planeteers is a frustrating gauntlet of unfair design. But that's probably what it wanted to be. Given the time it released, it could easily pass as any one of those classic quarter-draining arcade games that explain very little and expect you to do your homework in order to get through. However, even with that in mind, it's not interesting enough to warrant extended play, and most of its obstacles fall on the not fun, unfair side of things, instead of the respectable challenge I think it wanted to be. And after a while, it's just not fun to endure. I stopped even trying the outside levels after level 3 because it's way too hard and the game doesn't equip you for success. It tells you you need to use the earth power to counter the missiles and bombs, but the earth power, for lack of a better term, sucks f***ing whale dick. Yeah, that's right, I'm talking about you! This game sucks f***ing whale dick! And what are you doing about it? What a hero.